Well, I think that there was a fear during the recession that pro bono would really be the first to be cut. And I'd say a trend is toward renewed and enhanced pro bono efforts, notwithstanding the economic times we've come through. Appleseed does a lot of research and advocacy projects, not just litigation of individual cases, and we've had great receptivity and I think increasing receptivity to research and advocacy projects as well. I think there are some new issue areas that are also coming up. I think there's an increased interest in elder justice issues and veterans issues. I think the First Lady's been a real example, and I'm hearing from some firms, what do you have in the food, hunger and education areas as well. I think there's a lot of interest in transactional work. I think as law firms and corporate legal departments commit to pro bono, it's been very easy for the litigators to get matters serving individual clients. And it's been harder to find transactional work, but transactional attorneys can bring so much to pro bono, whether it's helping nonprofits incorporate or creating low-income housing, or in so many ways, the tax and corporate and other real estate departments can really contribute to pro bono. I think if their talents are harnessed and directed in the right way. Well, I'd love to just give an example because it's top of my mind. I'm doing a big project at Appleseed with 3 major law firms on protecting unaccompanied children. Mayor Brown, DLA, and Aiken Gump are all collaborating with Appleseed to assess how are the anti-trafficking laws being enforced with respect to unaccompanied Mexican children who come over the border. Moreover, not only those 3 U.S. firms are collaborating, but we're collaborating with a Mexican law firm as well. And we're better as a team. It takes a big team to go to Border Patrol facilities, to go to shelters along the border in both Mexico and the United States, to interview all these kids and interview in Spanish. So having the resources of 3 major law firms has been a huge help, and people are collegial and collaborative, and we're better as a team, as I said. Well, Appleseed has a Mexico office, and of course, not only immigration issues, but a lot of financial issues are really of cross-border importance, and so much of our work does cross the U.S.-Mexico border, and some of Mexico Appleseed's work has been a model even south of Mexico, as in Guatemala. We were very proud that the Financial Times recognized the Mexico Appleseed project with DLA as a #1 innovative project in creating a pro bono and philanthropic culture in Mexico. So abroad, I don't want to sound like, oh, America has everything all figured out, but some of the things that we've been doing well in this country for a number of years, such as starting clinical legal programs at the law schools, that's just developing in many countries. So lawyers here can play a role in partnering with law schools abroad and making sure that both the norm of giving back is inculcated and that the skills that are used in providing legal services for the poor and taking on structural issues of justice are included in curricula. It's been a very strong year in terms of pro bono. I think that many law firms quite admirably said, despite revenue cutbacks, that they would maintain their commitment to pro bono. They're institutions in their communities. They want to give back. They're lawyers and have an exclusive right as a profession to exclude others, and we have concomitant duties as lawyers to improve the administration of justice. I think many law firms are also seeing a business win-win for training for associates through pro bono, and maybe even sometimes paying clients are being tougher about the expense of staffing matters with multiple persons, and so that puts the firms in a bind about how do they get the young people trained up. So firms are, in some sense, using pro bono to get people training. And I think the firms also are committed to pro bono because it gives them positive PR. Sometimes they're under various attacks or some reputational risk one way or another, but if they've been a strong community partner and done a lot for the community, that stands them in better stead when crises happen. Sometimes I think that in American culture right now, there's a regrettable fear and animosity toward immigrants in some quarters, yet I think the immigration section of pro bono at the law firms is really a growing sector, and many law firms are having a broad number of people handle asylum matters as well as structural immigration matters. So I see that as a very positive trend. I think on the economic side, economic justice issues, sometimes those are harder to place, and I don't think that we've, as a law profession, have really totally covered ourselves in glory through this financial crisis with respect to the mortgage and foreclosure issues. So I think there's a way to go in terms of taking on controversial issues, but I think one of the distinguishing factors about the law profession is many lawyers have really been willing to take on matters for people who are excluded or stigmatized or who are in a lot of trouble. And that same impulse that creates a willingness to represent criminal defendants sometimes extends to other groups that are considered controversial, and lawyers have a good tradition of representing everybody. We've seen an increase both in corporate legal departments as well as in some other departments at corporations that are willing to partner with us. I think that the Pro Bono Institute's been really helpful in helping corporations navigate some of the issues associated with doing pro bono, such as how to navigate their insurance issues and liability issues, release time issues, and the like. And the foundational work that the Pro Bono Institute has conducted in assisting corporations to do pro bono is really paying dividends.